Why emotion regulation is vital for your dating success. How do you feel when matched with a woman on a dating app and then you approach her and she doesn't respond? You perhaps feel disappointed. Maybe this has happened many times to you. You maybe even start to get quite irritated by it. Or you see a woman on the street, you see her in a coffee shop, someone who looks really interesting and you like the way she looks and carries herself. How do you feel in your body if you think about approaching her? Depending on confidence levels, you may feel a little bit you may feel excitement, you may feel dread. And then how do you feel when another friend talking about the wonderful holiday they had with a partner, with a girlfriend? Perhaps you feel quite left out. Perhaps you feel even quite sad. All of these examples have a potential to create these uncomfortable feelings within yourself. And today we are talking about emotion regulation and why that is so important, not only for your well-being, but for your life, for your relationships, in all aspects of your life. Hi, my name is Dr. Marie. I'm a registered psychologist, a relationship therapist, and a coach for men who really want to become confident in dating and build beautiful relationships in the future. So today we are really talking about something that is very basic to us as humans, but often we find it really difficult, and there are various reasons for that, and I'll talk about those a little bit later. So we'll talk about why emotions are important, why you may not be very aware of your emotions, why you may struggle with emotion regulation, what does that even mean, and then I'll give you at the end a real concrete example of how to improve your emotion regulation so that you can have better connection with yourself and ultimately better relationships in the future. So let's get into this now. Why do we have emotions? Why do we need to regulate them? So let's take this example. Do you drive a car? And even if you didn't drive a car, you know enough about cars. So in the car, there's a dashboard. On the dashboard, you can see all of those different lights. It shows you whether the lights are working. It shows you whether you need to fill your tank, or if you've got an electric car, when you need to recharge your car. And what would happen if those wires were clipped? Suddenly, the wires to these lights were clipped. What would happen? You wouldn't have a clue what's really going on under the hood. You wouldn't know when your car would stop. And it is exactly the same with our emotions. They are absolutely vital for our well-being and relationships. So emotions are like the lights that you see there on the dashboard. They help us to navigate situations in life and in relationships. And unfortunately, so many people are really cut off from their emotions. I think this is really a kind of Western world problem, that so many people, I used to be one too, just live in their heads and they're disconnected from the body. So when you are disconnected from your body, you are just reacting to situations as they happen. For example, approach someone and then you didn't get a response. And maybe because this was already the 10th time or something, you start to get really irritated, you start to get quite angry, and it feels really uncomfortable. And what you decide to do is that you decide to do something completely different to block it out. Okay. And this is so common. So many people use this blocking out approach to kind of almost to swallow and to block out uncomfortable feelings. And why especially men struggle with this is because society on the whole hasn't really always been very helpful to men and encouraging men to understand what is going on in terms of emotions. Perhaps the only emotion has been kind of okay, has been anger. And, you know, you may have family members, even who are men who are quite explosive. And you may have witnessed that yourself in the past. When we are not connected with our body and understand really what's going on underneath, then it's really about just reacting to something. But actually, when you are in tune with your bodily sensations, all of those emotions that live in your body, those are the sensations in your body, and they communicate to you exactly about how things are impacting you. So, okay, I understand it's disappointing, that you approach someone or they don't respond to you in any way. So what is important is to understand the meaning of the reaction you have and understand the reaction in the context of this situation, but also maybe you've had previous experiences when you felt in a similar way. Maybe there were other times in life when, for example, as in your teens, perhaps you were bullied or something like that, or other uncomfortable situations happened in other relationships. So you need to be aware of also this reaction and this build up, because when we are aware, and emotions are like a wave, it comes, and that's where, when it's kind of heightened, that's where many people block it. But what we learn to kind of embrace it is to, and sit with it, is to acknowledge, okay, I'm understanding, I notice in my body that this emotion is rising, okay, and then when you observe it mindfully without making any judgment, it starts to subside. And in fact, it is a very fast process. Emotions, they won't stay here if you just allow them to kind of find their way. And then they don't get stuck in your body either. So when you start to notice those subtle shifts in your body, then you become so much better equipped in dealing with these kind of situations that are potentially upsetting you. But also, even when there's something really happy and funny and you feel those lovely emotions, you are able to embrace them better. So all emotions are important because they all send a signal to us. So, for example, we feel that rejection on that dating app, and you notice the irritation. So, okay, so you notice the irritation and just be with it and notice it and allow it to subside. And I will teach you then a quick tip on how to really regulate your nervous system and bring the arousal levels down, because that will then help you to make better decisions. Is it the right time for you to date? Is this the right approach to date? Do you need some support perhaps with it? So when you understand the situation, not just the emotion that you're feeling and you're trying to kind of block it or escape it, then you can do something about it. You can be much more productive in the long term. And this is also for your relationships, because in relationships, we feel all of these different emotions, and we need to understand, are they being triggered by the here and now situation, or are they actually linking back to something in our history? And if this is useful for you, do hit that like button. And where would we and let's talk about a little bit about where would we naturally learn about regulating emotions. And as I already mentioned, that the society hasn't really supported men with learning about their emotions. And where do we learn about emotions is when we are around sort of 3, 4, 5 years old. That's when the big emotions are developing. And if you are fortunate enough to have parents who were also able to regulate their emotions, and they were able to be with you and help you to navigate those emotions, then this emotion regulation is easier for you. But unfortunately, in many cases, about 50% of the time, many people grow up, and many boys grow up in environments where emotion regulation is not being part of the parenting experience. And then you've had to perhaps kind of like almost swallow your feelings and just kind of get on with it. So this is now something that as an adult you can do. And this will change your relationships, because it is the first thing that I also teach my male clients who come, who are already in relationships and then who want to improve their relationships. Understanding emotion regulation is one of the very first things that we talk about. So what can you do now then to start improving your emotional awareness? Okay. So let's do this very simple exercise, and only by repetition. Initially, it might feel a little bit strange and it might be really difficult for you to focus. Or you might already have dabbled with some meditating apps, perhaps in the past. But let's do a very basic exercise. Okay, so what I would like you to do now is to just find a comfortable position. You might be lying down, you might be sitting up, whatever feels comfortable. You can do this in a very quick time, and it will just give you more information about your bodily state and what's going on with your emotions. Okay, so perhaps start with just closing your eyes and then press your feet firmly against the floor, if you can do that. If you're lying down, it might be a bit more difficult, but if you're sitting up, that's quite helpful. And then start inhaling through your nose and all the way to your diaphragm, which is the lowest part of your tummy. And as you are inhaling, you may just hold your breath for a short while. And inhale through your nose, and then when you're ready to start exhaling through your mouth. We do it in a very simple way. And then let's do that another time. So inhale through your nose and then hold for a little bit. And then exhale through your mouth. And let's do one more time. Okay. So inhale through your nose. Hold. And then exhale through your mouth. Okay. So now you may already notice that there's something going on in your body, or that it's starting to be more present in the here and now. Because our breath is the quickest way of really calming the nervous system. And then what I would like you to do is, as you've got eyes closed, do a body scan. And do a body scan where you would start from feet upwards. Start investigating what kind of sensations are you noticing in your body. How does your body feel right now? So you start from your toes, from your feet upwards, from your legs, your buttocks, and then just notice in your stomach. We stop here for a little bit because this is one of the common areas where we are holding stress and anxiety and so on. So just notice that. Notice what's going on in your stomach. Notice what's going on in your chest, and just notice if the air is flowing in and out quite freely, or what does your chest feel like. And if you need to adjust your position at all, you can do that just to make yourself even 1% a bit more comfortable. And then just kind of moving upwards to your shoulders and to your arms and to your fingers. Just follow your body and pay attention to all of these places. And then let's finally just check on with your neck, with your face, and with your forehead and head. And just really notice, now going back once you've done that really brief scan, is like What sensations are you picking up on there? Is there any discomfort? And if there is, could you breathe into it a little bit just to ease it off? And what does that mean for you? And you can just do this very quick exercise to really help you to know better any shifts in your body. The more you do it, I would even say you can do this, for example, if you are boiling a kettle, and whilst that's happening, you can just do this very quick body scan and notice your body and your emotions. And the more you do it, the more equipped you are, and then you start to understand the different subtle shifts and changes. And the more you understand those shifts and changes, you understand about what's affecting you. And I recommend daily meditation to everyone because it's so helpful in so many ways, whether it is to do with kind of building your rejection resilience, or whether it is just, being able to be more present on dates and so on. So do follow this channel so you'll be notified of any more videos like this. And if you want to become more confident in dating, do go and download my Dating Confidence Kickstart Guide, which will give you 10 tips on becoming more confident in dating and approaching women. So please remember that give yourself the love and attention that you're seeking, and then you will find what you're looking for. You take care now and see you soon. Bye.